Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tao and Amanda Live, right here on Cash Alternative TV. I'm Tao.
And I'm Amanda, just got caught fixing my teeth with my tongue.
The beauties of live.
Yeah.
So today I'm kind of excited because it's my dog's birthday, and
And
I'm already in the festive mood because it's December and it's my dog's birthday. If anybody has dogs, I love them very much, and he actually just turned 2 years old, so he's now officially older than my daughter.
wow. And
She's 13.
also speaking of dogs, there won't be any in the background on my end of the video today.
Yay! That's great to hear. Yeah, because it's kind of a distraction for sure. But we actually had a commenter that was really loved dogs, and that's all she wanted to talk about. It was funny.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, not while I'm on this show, Tao.
Well, guess what? We did still have a dog's appearance in the form of a picture.
That's true. Well, and speaking of animals, that kind of reminds me of the first thing that we're going to talk about today. Moo Cow Moo.
Yes, the disappearing cow.
The disappearing cow. So, for anybody who's not quite sure what this is about, Tal, why don't you give us a little refresher?
Well, okay. Moo Cow Moo is a very old Dash community member. I'm not sure when he joined, but he's been there since the beginning, and he's done a few things for Dash. He's committed code, and he's created a program called Dashman that makes it easier for people to set up their masternodes. And he's also helped people out in general. Like he's helped me out quite a few times. But about a year ago, maybe a year and a half, he ran into some issues. He said he was having some personal troubles, and he had a kid, and he's been seen intermittently ever since. So we haven't seen him.
Yeah, and so Tao, before you go any further, let's talk about why this is even relevant. And the answer to that question is that for years, MooCowMoo was offering a shared masternode service, which means that he allowed people to make deposits with him who didn't have the full 1,000 Dash for a masternode, and then he would spin up their collective Dash into a masternode and send them their respective payouts.
Correct. Yeah, and that's why it's big news right now because over time, like I run the Dash Nation Discord, and people were complaining that he wasn't paying attention to them, he wasn't returning their funds. It's important to note that the service is still running, payouts are still coming, but he's not responding to people that want to withdraw their funds.
Yeah, so first of all, I just want to say to anybody who has funds stuck with Moo Cow's service that you wanted to withdraw but you're not able to, I'm super sorry to hear that. Um, and yeah, I don't know if we can write off. Okay, first of all, can we say, like, is it possible that dude is dead? Right? Because if nobody knows who this was, is it possible that, like, dude is dead and that he's not, like some jackass, but is actually dead?
No, well, that's the interesting thing because one of his things that he set up was called a dead man switch. It was actually for that use case. If anything would ever happen to him, it would automatically send all the funds back to the originators. So I don't know if that's true or not.
Okay, so you're saying if he were dead and if the switch worked correctly, then the funds would have been returned by now. Is that what you're saying?
You would think so, yes. And he's been seen intermittently, but he hasn't been seen in the last little while. And yeah, I mean, when you're dealing with people's funds, I mean, they knew what they're getting into. He is a trusted community member, kind of like Slawek 21. If you're out there, Slawek, cheers to you because you've been here in the community for a long time and very trusted. But at the end of the day, you're still trusting somebody with your funds. So while
Right.
it is unfortunate that this happened, and he has built up a community presence, you're still trusting your money. If you don't have the keys, it's not your money. I mean, we've seen it so many times in the industry.
Well, and wasn't it for this very reason that Slawek actually stopped offering shares like 1 or 2 years ago?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's he is definitely he had a big service actually too. Yeah, but he did stop doing that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm really sorry to hear it. I can say that 2 years ago at the, if you all remember, the first Dash open house, Dash Core Group open house down at Arizona State University. That was where I first met you, Tao.
Yep.
I was setting up the room for the event, and I did have a tall, thin, Caucasian individual with kind of brown hair come up to me, and he was wearing like dark sunglasses and carrying like a Starbucks coffee. And he said under his breath, as he like took down his sunglasses, he was like, "I'm Moo Cow Moo." And I said, "Oh, okay. All right. Well, nice to meet you." And then he said something like about how his coffee had 6 shots of espresso in it. And I was like, wow, I don't want somebody's heart to stop in this meeting, but I guess he knows what he's doing. But anyway, so that's all I have to say about who this individual might be. That's all I have to say. I just wanted to put that out there in case it's like ever helpful. Because I mean, shoot, guys, I mean, if that really was Moo Cow Moo, maybe there was some footage taken of the open house by which we could potentially identify this person, or maybe there was like some CCTV footage down there at ASU that would allow us to potentially do the same. So anyway, I'm just throwing it out there. And again, I'm really sorry to anybody who's being affected by this. And Tao, I know you wanted to talk about this issue being posted about on our cryptocurrency.
Well, I kind of want to talk about something first before that. I also met Moo Cow Moo at that same place that you're talking about at the Phoenix Open House. And yeah, he was in rare form that day. But yeah, we had a great conversation with Evan Duffield and a few other community members in behind the scenes. Great conversation about the future and everything else. Yeah, it was good. And he struck me as being a nice guy. But that's beside the point of what I want to talk about. I kind of want to talk about the way the Dash leadership is handling this issue. There's been there was a thing on our cryptocurrency that says that the commit was made to make Moo Cow Moo not part of the core team. Like he was part of the core team, and the timing of this looks really bad on core group, I have to say. And also they have not come out with any kind of official explanation.
Yeah, that looks bad as hell. Because Moo Cow Moo was for sure listed on the team page at dash.org in the time past. And I agree with you, Tao. I have not seen a statement from the core group about this. Have you?
No, I actually tagged them on our cryptocurrency. So because the guy, one of the moderators said if the community, like if the leadership of Dash comes out with an official statement, he will sticky it. So I said, well, that's gracious of you. And then I tagged Fernando and I tagged Ryan. I'm not sure how often they're on Reddit though. So
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I know that the way that Dash and other decentralized projects have come to be over the years can sometimes make who's responsible for what like a confusing issue, right? Because I was thinking about this yesterday. I was thinking, okay, well, did Ryan Taylor, CEO of Dash Core, hire Moo Cow Moo? And I'm thinking, well, no, not necessarily, because Moo Cow Moo was on Evan Duffield's team, right? When Evan Duffield was in charge of Dash Core Group before Ryan Taylor. Then I was thinking, well, did Evan Duffield hire Moo Cow Moo? And then I'm thinking, well, no, maybe Moo Cow Moo was just like a volunteer contributor, to the Darkcoin code base, and hence, so then maybe, whoever created dash.org was, just like put him on the website. And so it's like, okay, I can see how there could potentially be no clear lines of responsibility here. But I agree with you, Tao, that it still looks bad for nobody to claim like, hey, we associated ourselves with this guy. And whether it was on purpose or not, we know that putting his name and photo on the dash.org team website made him look trustworthy, made him look like, hey, this is the kind of guy you maybe want to deposit your funds with. And I am also very disappointed that no statements of responsibility have been made from Dash Core Group individuals whose website this guy was on.
So for the viewers out there of Tao and Amanda Live, you're going to see that we have our own opinions about things, and we're not afraid to hold them back, because there is some things wrong with Dash, and sometimes things happen that we don't agree with. And I'm sure that's the same with you guys out there. Nothing's perfect, we're not gonna hold back on any criticisms that we might have of the core team or of community members or of anybody. But our cryptocurrency doesn't get away so easily, does it?
Sure. Well, okay, so what in particular?
Well, I've noticed some weird behavior on our cryptocurrency, and I'll be honest with you. Like people that are saying, "Oh, Moo, Dash Instamine, Dash scam," those comments are like voted sky high. Whereas people that come on and they, okay, go ahead. You want to say something?
Oh no, shoot, Tao, I
No?
just wanted to tell you I did an experiment once. I created a new throwaway account on Reddit like 6 months ago. And to test out this theory I had about just like a totally unreasoned bias against Dash among members of our cryptocurrency, I just went to like some random post. I don't even think the post was about Dash. And in the comment section, I just typed like, Dash is digital trash. And it got like 31 upvotes.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And there's no reason for it, because like people like you or I and people that are just going there to explain about Dash, okay, you might not be right about this because this is what happened. Like, for example, the Instamine. I present my research and I tell them what actually happened. And other people are saying, well, Dash isn't really that centralized because we have a trust that is controlled by the decentralized masternode network. It's not 100% decentralized because you need 1,000 Dash to enter, but it's not as centralized as some people assume. And so people that are doing this kind of commentary are getting downvoted to oblivion. And like, how would any reasonable person downvote like this kind of opinions and download these kind of contributions to oblivion? It doesn't make any sense. And this is why I call out our cryptocurrency and the mods that are there. They should be cleaning this stuff up. Like, it might not just be for Dash, it might be for other cryptocurrencies as well. This kind of thing should not be allowed to happen.
Well, and that's the messiness of trying to do really meaningful things that have value tied to them on a place like Reddit, where you don't know who you're talking to. You don't know if they hold stake in any coins or what coins. You don't know who they work for. You don't know if they even want any digital currency to succeed at all. Like, this is trying to do business in a potential like rat's nest cesspool. And like, Reddit works really well for things that don't have dollar values attached to them. Like if I want to learn how to, make a better like pork rib sandwich, maybe like our, food is a great place for me to go and get some tips. But when it comes to talking about something that is as monetarily meaningful to people as cryptocurrencies, especially with relation to the competing cryptocurrencies, like, competing for a fixed set of investors, it almost seems. Yep. Reddit, you almost couldn't get a worse place than Reddit. And this comes from somebody who uses our Dash Pay every day. And I check our cryptocurrency like every other day. And it's not because I think these are great solutions. It's because I don't currently know of a better solution. Like the forum at dash.org, the user interface is just a nightmare.
And it's dominated by scam posts, like spam bots dominate that place. It's really sad.
Wow, I didn't even know that. That's how long I haven't been there. And I remember like, oh, actually, we can talk about something else. I remember one of the things that I was like most excited about when Julio from Dash Crypto came around, right, and started like making proposals to the Dash Treasury system, for which I volunteered to make videos. Like one of the things I was so jazzed about was having like a nice place to go and talk about Dash, like a user-friendly, pretty place where like moderation would be consistent and login would be easy, commenting would be easy, karma points would be easy. And yeah, I'm not saying that would have necessarily been better than Reddit, but like maybe it would have, because at least it would have been owned by someone. We would have said, okay, Julio owns this. Therefore, if the moderation is lacking, that's on Julio. And maybe we won't pay him again next month if he doesn't clean up the moderation. But like when it comes to reddit.com/r-pay, to this day, nobody claims ownership of that. plenty of people claim moderation rights, but nobody claims ownership. And so there's like no way to improve it or hold anyone accountable.
Yeah, the one who owns it is the one that started it, and that's Evan Duffield, and he's like Moo Cow Moo. He's disappeared. Well, I don't know if we're ever going to see the guy again either. So that's definitely a weird situation to be in.
Yeah.
Yeah, so not holding back. But also another thing that I want to mention to our fellow Dash community members, I love you guys and everything else, but when you come into our cryptocurrency guns ablazing and start insulting people, that no lurkers are gonna take you seriously. Go in there and present your case, but don't be like going in guns ablazing and saying you guys are effers and you guys, this is like an inbred breeding ground. No, like some of these people are reasonable people, and those are the people that you want listening to you. Present your case in a reasonable way. If they start attacking you and they go off the handle, then that's their fault. You can do your own part to make Dash look good, and going in there by being aggressive and language like that is not going to help.
Well, coming from you, Tao, I'm going to have to say I would take that as sound advice, because you've always made Dash look good. A little nerdy, a little naive, but I don't think that hurts anybody.
Oh, well, thank you for your honesty. I don't know how to take that. It's kind of a compliment dish.
No, it's a compliment.
Okay.
One of the things I've always liked best about you, Tao, is that, and actually this is one of the things I like best about Pete too, is that when I look in y'all's eyes, people like you, people like Pete, I know that you are pretty much physically incapable of dishonesty. And that shows through. And yes, there's a flip side to being that way, which is you can seem kind of nerdy, kind of naive, kind of like, okay, like get with it. But the plus side is that you're trustworthy. And so I've always appreciated that about you.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
And I've always appreciated you also for the way you handle things, the way you came to Dash and you promoted Dash, and you're actually a big part of that Phoenix open house we were talking about earlier. And I'm so glad to have you back on the air. And I'm sure I'm not alone in that sentiment either.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm very happy to be back. Well, on that note, shall we move on to our second point of discussion, which actually kind of ties into the first, which is there is a second Dash open house, technically Dash Core Group open house, coming up at ASU this weekend. And it's kind of a big deal. What's it about, Tao?
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of people out there are saying, well, evolution, when's it coming? And I, like I was saying on one of my last Christopher's Crypto Chronicles, I was saying that evolution is not a thing anymore. It's a code name for an entire project. And some of the things have already been done and some of the things are upcoming. So the biggest part of Dash evolution is going to be Dash platform. And there's going to be an open house in Phoenix, Arizona. And they're going to be doing all kinds of hands-on things with Dash platform. They're going to have some of their launch partners there. They're going to have developers there to help people that are interested in starting apps on Dash platform. So it's going to be really cool.
Okay, so Tao, what is Dash platform?
Dash platform is a decentralized API that people can create the apps on, and it attaches to what's called a platform chain. And the platform chain interacts with the Dash network. But it is a separate chain. So it takes advantage of the fact that we can create our own chain that's just basically for dApps. So without going too technical into it, it's basically a platform that people can create dApps similar to like the App Store.
Dang. Okay, yeah. So let's break down a few of those terms. So when you say like a DAPI, okay, so a decentralized API is actually a pretty big deal. To my understanding, this will be the world's first decentralized API, will it not?
I believe so. Yeah, it's leveraging the power of the Dash Masternode network to have always on 100% uptime API.
Yeah, and so the point of having a decentralized API is because right now, anybody who wants to interact with the Dash network, be it as just like standard payment consumer or business or anybody, they have to either run their own full node, or they have to basically like pay to use the API service of a company that runs a full node on their behalf. And this is true of every cryptocurrency right now. And so currently it's if you want to like engage with the peer-to-peer network, you have to like be a peer, meaning, hey, like clear out some hard drive space, buddy. It's time to store a big ass blockchain. And that is not ideal. And so having a DAPI means that people will be able to engage the Dash peer-to-peer network in a peer-to-peer fashion without having to run a full node or pay any third-party services, which is rad.
It's awesome. Yep. I agree. Yeah, it's something that's never been done before. And I'm sure some developers out there are salivating, waiting to get their hands on it, and they'll get a chance at the open house.
Right. Okay. And so then you also used the term DApp. And so when we use DApp in Dash, that stands for like decentralized application. Or so I've heard them called like Dash dApps, right? Okay. And so a DApp, I mean, I am like less developmentally savvy. I don't even know if I can accurately describe like a DApp, but I mean, to my understanding, it's the kind of thing that that people can code in order to have their like own custom applications running on Dash. Yes.
Yeah, like so if people are familiar with the App Store, it's going to be like a similar concept. So everything is going to be running on this decentralized API. The first DApp is going to be the Dash Pay wallet. So people can download the Dash Pay wallet and it will interact with the DAPI, and you can access this wallet from anywhere. So that's really cool. So you can access it from your phone, you can access it from your computer, you can access it wherever you are. You don't have a wallet on each device anymore. And and that's going to be really cool. So and also there's going to be other apps. So like somebody wants to create a, say, like remember that Ethereum app, the Crypto Kitties? Like somebody could do something like that, right?
Yeah, and you know,
sorry, I just say the possibilities of that are pretty much endless, you know.
Right. Well, and that reminds me of something that Bob Carroll said, CTO of Dash Core Group, during their most recent quarterly report. Which, by the way, anybody who doesn't follow these things, to give the flip side of Tao's and my earlier criticism in the show of Dash Core Group not taking any responsibility for this Moo Cow Moo thing as of yet. On the flip side of things, they are so awesome when it comes to like transparency, like investor facing transparency. They have been giving like minimum 1 hour quarterly transparency reports for the last 3 years, 4 years. And this is the kind of transparency and accountability that I don't see coming out of a lot of other core teams of other projects. And yeah, I just think that's rad. And so what Bob Carroll said is that it makes more sense in our minds in terms of, okay, where's this word evolution going? Can we still use the word evolution? Please, God, help us make sense of it all. He says that evolution has largely been tied to the experience of the Dash Pay wallet DApp, right? So, you know, the whole like, hey, I have a username now instead of a cryptographic address. And like, I can add other people via username. And every time I send them a payment, it lands in a new one of their cryptographic addresses without my having to request the address from them. And so what Bob said in terms of thinking about this is that because the platform has to be running before any dApps can be built on it, he says platform comes out first for that reason in the next update. And then to my understanding, the following, like then Dash dApp, Dash Pay wallet can be released after that, right? Once like a platform is stable and working. And it's that experience of the wallet that is probably going to meet most people's idea of, oh, this is what evolution looks like. It's here.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's going to come in stages. So yeah, it's going to happen over time, you know, like it's going to be like any other kind of software development. It's you're going to see something new all the time. It's going to be a very exciting time for Dash.
Yeah.
So well, I think if we don't start talking about this now, we're going to run out of time. We're going to go to our main topic. As you know, here on Tao and Amanda Live, we're crypto agnostic. It just happened to be that there was a lot going on in Dash this time, but we like to talk about other cryptos as well. And this is a huge story that came out in the last week. It's about an Ethereum developer or community member who went to North Korea, and he was teaching the North Koreans how to evade sanctions with blockchain. So like, this is huge to me. Like I don't know. Like, and then he got arrested by the Americans, and everybody has their take. So I want to see what you might want to have to say about that, Amanda.
I don't really have any particular judgments of the situation in any way,
Okay,
except
but
for
do you
I guess I
support
just
him in his actions? Do you think that it's right for him to teach the North Koreans to avoid sanctions with blockchain? Or is he a traitor to the
I
Americans?
I'm like Switzerland. I try to be neutral on things as much as humanly possible. Um, I guess I wonder like why he went through the Los Angeles airport. Um, if I were him, I think I would have just steered clear. So that seems kind of mysterious to me. Um,
And
but
also,
yeah,
he's posting on Reddit too. He's saying, "Whoa, look at me! I'm going to North Korea." It's like, come on, man.
yeah. And so when stuff like this happens, where it seems like somebody is overtly acting in a way that is not in their best interest, I think there's often more to the story that we don't know and we may never know. And even some elements of the story that we're taking as fact may not be fact. And
Absolutely.
so, yeah, and so this kind of stuff, yeah, I try not to get too excited about it one way or the other, just because we're never going to really know what happened, really.
Hmm. Well, the surface of it, it's like a huge story, right? Because the mainstream media is always painting cryptocurrency as something that's going to be the domain of criminals, right? Like the U.S. dollar isn't used by criminals. So and then when they come across something like this, they just feast on it. You know what I mean? And they blow it up more than it should be. But at the same time, he is an American citizen and he's going against the wishes of his country. So that's a whole another topic that you could talk about. You know what I mean? Where you fall on that side of the fence, because Roger Ver came out and he was saying, you know what, this guy is doing the God's work. I support 100% what he's doing. And then you got other people that are saying, you know what, this guy is like, I don't know why he's trying to do this to blockchain. We're trying to promote our cause and he's just sabotaging us by doing stuff like this. So it's you can fall on both sides of the fence on this. It's a very interesting topic.
Well, and that really just, I think, to me, is a testament to the real potential and actually the potential that's already being tapped of various blockchain based tokens being viewed as money. Because one of the defining characteristics of money is that it gets used by everyone, even people you don't like, even people you don't agree with. If only people you like and agree with use something, it's probably not money. Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah. So that's definitely true. That's definitely a good point because money is money. It's an instrument. A gun doesn't kill people. People kill people, right? So it makes sense. But you definitely could come like if you guys have any comments about this, leave them down in the description below because we could talk about this all day for sure. There's definitely a lot of schools of thought about this. But I guess we only have 2 minutes left, so we better wrap it up.
Well, I guess we better. But yeah, I wanted to close off with a final comment just to close up your story, Tao, which is just that, like any tool, money. So money is a tool. I view money as a tool. It is a tool that distributes resources, that distributes scarce resources, right? And that's its base purpose. That's its base function. In fact, I remember reading something one time somewhere I thought was so interesting. It said that one of the defining characteristics of money is that almost always it is good for nothing else besides distributing scarce resources, right? Like the most popular forms of money are not like also good at powering your car, or are not also edible, or are not also like useful to track the movement of stars in the sky. It's like the best, most popular forms of money are useful for nothing else than the distribution of scarce resources. And so, as a tool, it can be used in any way for any purpose to achieve any ends. Right? There's no such thing as like moral money or money that meets your own personal morals and promotes some things while not promoting others. It's a tool. It can be used in any way by any person. And that's the flip side, because the more people use your coin that you're holding, like the richer you're going to get. And the flip side of that coin is that you may not agree with those people on everything. And that is the way the cookie crumbles. I don't know.
Excellent pearls of wisdom, Amanda. Thanks for bringing that. But we have to wrap it up today. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. And don't forget to leave a comment down below if you have anything to say, any comments, suggestions for improvement, or anything like that. We can also be reached on Twitter at Tao Amanda Live. And we can be reached on the Dash Nation on Discord. It's Tao Amanda Live, and the link's going to be below.
Yeah, and everybody, we're gonna pop over into the Discord after this to chat with you about anything you want to talk about from the show today, because that's what we did last week, and I liked it, and I want to do it again. So
Absolutely.
come talk to us there.
Get your butt in there. Bye for now.